There will be a recording for you, and we're happy to do a deep dive on any of this. This first one, we just wanted to skim it at a high level and give you, some quick reminders, and in terms of style of how we do it. We'll be back again next month, and we will happily do any topic you care to ask us to do a deep dive on, whether it's cruise control, eco driving, aerodynamics, engine efficiency, or indeed alternative fuels. But ideally, there is a separate meeting for that there. So, as I say, this is what I should have put up. Actually, it's apologies, but here's the next slide up, Paul. This is just a quick review. If you've applied for any of these grants under the alternative vehicle heavy duty vehicle grant, so it's just a check image on this and let you just do a quick poll on that. With this, look for a quick response on that, and take it from there. And then we've got one or two more polls to get your views on things, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah.
For anybody planning to apply for these, the lead-in time for some of these vehicles is pushing 18 months, 2 years now at some stage. So you want to be budgeting well ahead, or putting it into your long-term forecast.
That's it. That's interesting. I think it's, and again, part of the reason we do the slide up polls, folks, is just to say it again, anonymous, so that it reflects the mood in the room. You can kind of, without people having to put their name to it, it helps you see what other people are thinking of doing. Obviously gives you a bit of confidence, maybe, if you're going to go and talk to the boss about applying for one of these things. So yeah, very good, very good. I'll just let that go up, and then we'll jump on. And we're timed to go to 10:30 altogether, but that's to allow for a bit of chat, isn't it, Paul? We should we'll do a quick demo now and take people through this in a second. Yeah. Okay. Very good. And just a quick reminder of some of the dates. We're obviously here today. There are some other events coming up. All of these links will be there as well if you need them. And we are planning a green certificate training program. We'll talk about that anon. So there's more coming. But here's kind of final, most useful slide from our point of view. This is a little bit like the word cloud you did at the start, but what topic would you like to see covered in greater detail next month? So if you like, this is your chance to say, look, you were too quick on this, or you want more depth on that, or more detail, or more calculations, etc. Maybe more examples, some pictures, some real life case stories. Pop that in there now. Whatever the topic is, cruise control, speeding, idling, whatever it may be, we will do a bit more on it. We're conscious people are mad busy. It's a very, very stressful time. So we didn't want to take up hours and hours of your time this morning. Keep it short and sweet, and we'll come back on the topics that you want us to come back. So EcoFleet's coming up next. Yeah. Tire info. There you go. That's nice to hear. Case studies. Okay. So we'll have a look at that. We'll maybe take one of the fleets. We may anonymize it a bit, but sort of to protect the innocent or the guilty, and take you there. Telematics data management, interesting one. Yeah, very good. Nice to hear that one. Great. Okay.
That's when you do the printout, Connor, and you walk out to the yard with the big hurl over the shoulder.
Maybe you too. I try to be nice about it, but anyway.
No, you have to bring the attitude adjuster with you sometimes.
Is that right? Okay. Real savings. So case studies, life. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Testimonials. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. EcoFleet members. Yeah, we have a few. There are some up there. Actually, I'll let you keep typing there. And what I might do is just jump over here, and I'll just show you one company that it has made it. How would I put it? They've kind of gone through the program. So and these guys have got recognized internationally. So let's just see. Here we go. Now this is a little bit old, so don't worry too much about the money. But Paul was giving you some illustrations earlier. The poll is still open, by the way, folks. You can still keep keying things in. But this is just a nice case story. I'll just flash it up now. What we might do is get a bit more detail in this and the latest on it. But these guys were good enough when they went through the training course to actually get themselves posted, their case story posted on Smart Freight Centre. This is a global initiative. So, it's possible to get international recognition if you need it. Okay, so we'll come back to that though. So, yeah, as we said, great stuff. Telematics, fatigue management. Oh, that's one for you, Paul. That won't be me, right? But put that on your list. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no problem.
Great. Funding. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Okay, folks, look, we will continue to badger you to tell us what you need, because that's the easiest way for us to to these. Otherwise, it's myself and Paul thinking, look, it'd be a good idea to do X. It's much better if you tell us what you want, and then we'll address it. So that's, part of today is just getting that message across to you. And great stuff. I think we've enough there, Paul, to do the next one. I think we'll make a decision about the topic, and Nicola will send out the email shortly. We'll pick a date. We'll do it again if 9 o'clock suits. An hour, nice and straightforward, and we'll do a deep dive on that. But just moving swiftly on and talking about the green certificate. This is my version of it, just putting things in position. So a quick reminder of what Paul was saying to you earlier, and the amounts of money. EcoFleet, you heard it mentioned, is just in the background, right? Just to be clear, Smart Freight Centre are there. They do recognize what you're doing, and the Global Logistics Emissions Council is there as well. Also, you've got Improva and Fuels for Ireland. So there's quite a few players behind you. There's a lot of people behind you supporting you. Just keep that in mind. And it's not a new kid on the block. It's been around for quite a while. It's a very mature system now at this stage. In terms of what's required, this is the kind of graphic that we typically show. And I'll go through this relatively quickly because we want to show you on screen what you need to do. But as Paul was saying to you earlier, you need to allocate time to managing fuel. Now, hopefully all of you are already doing this, but first thing is do the business case. How much is this going to be worth to me? How much are Improva going to pay me? How much money am I potentially going to save? And then make a decision how much time you're going to allocate to fuel management each week. We will help you. We're not going to dwell on this today. We'll just show you where it is. You do need to keep records. And you do need a plan of some description. I remember one of the companies that got a decent sized check a couple of years back. They had their action plan, and me being me, I was asking for a PDF or something signed or whatever. They had it on the whiteboard in the porta cabin, right? And they were able to send me a photograph of it, and that was absolutely fine because that's what they worked to. So they said, this week we're going to work on tire management, next week we're going to work on idling, and they put it up there because the whiteboard is how they ran the company. It doesn't matter how you do it, just do it. Okay, that's the key thing. Have a plan, and then check yourself how you're getting on against your own plan. And then all the normal things that you do. But once a quarter, you report into Improva to tell us how you're getting on, right? The process, very simply, we need your total kilometers, total liters, quarterly upload. You need the evidence pack, which we'll come back to. And effectively what happens is Improva accept all those. They collect them at the end of Q4 each year. So although we're checking, cajoling, working with you throughout the year, and you're uploading each quarter, once a year, it's submitted to the government for approval and check-in. So we have our own QA checks that are done, but effectively Q1 each year is when it's submitted to SEAI, who are the regulator, and then the minister, believe it or not, Eamon Ryan, signs it off by the end of March each year. And the payments, the requests for invoices, so you'll get an email from Improva saying, please send us an invoice for, I think the biggest payment you had, Paul, was 30 something, was it this year?
About 38, yeah, 38 plus.
So someone basically got an email saying, please send us an invoice for €38,000, okay, in the last few weeks. And hopefully they've sent it, okay?
Well, they have.
And you might think I'm joking. We had one case where they didn't send the invoice, right? But there you go. That's another day's work. So once that happens, then effectively the payment pays out around about now, okay, just to give an idea. So you'll know where you stand, and we'll show you that now in a second. Does it work? So, Paul gave you the picture for the last year, just that little snapshot. At an aggregate level, this has been working for years, right? We've been working with some of the green certified members and the bronze and silver, the gold and silver certified members for quite a few years now. And in the aggregate, this is a very, very successful program. So the figures that Paul gave you are not a one-off, right? They are for real. They're happening year in, year out, and it's a fairly free-flowing system. Now, Paul has already taken you through the rules, which is the next slide that I have. So what I'm going to jump over to now is the demo. And
I'll be doing, do you want me to do the rules first, or do you want to do the demo first?
Well, I think do the demo first, right? Because
Brand?
For people who are hanging on there, they'll kind of go, okay, this is great, but how complicated is this? So let's just show how simple it is first, and then we'll tell you the rules. Okay, how does that sound?
The answer is not very, but go ahead.
Okay, right. So when you log in, effectively, sorry, I've been a bit too quick there. Let me go back one step. So this is kind of the landing page, and when you log in, you'll see this button here, upload my results. So this is what you'll land on. And this is the EcoFleet we referred to earlier. You'll be logging in here via the FTAI website, okay? This is the button you'll be clicking on. and this is where you'll land. And this is the button you need to click. Upload my results. Don't worry about the other buttons, okay? This is the demo account. It's nobody's data, just so you're clear. You get a picture here of how much fuel you've saved to date. A lot of people would say to me, just tell me how much money I'm going to get. That's kind of the question. So the way we phrase that is in liters, okay? And I'll just show you here for someone. We go back here. This guy is owed money, I think, for 2016 or something like that. So we'll go back here to something like that. I just go back to that and it's show balance. So you can hit the show balance and actually, he's got to go back a few. But there you go. So he's owed for that particular year. He's owed 18,000 liters worth of money. Now, because the amount of money can vary, that's generally agreed. But for that one there, that will be 1,800 euros is what that fleet is owed for that year. Okay, so just to answer the question, where's the money? That's where it is. It's under payments. Pick the year and show balance. Okay, that's that. But what's involved in doing the upload? Okay. To click this button, single quarterly upload, key in your liters, key in your distance. Obviously, we're currently doing 2022 Q1, so it's the first quarter of 2022. Tell us what you did, what you didn't do, what worked, what didn't work, like a text message. We are not looking for war and peace. So literally like a WhatsApp or a text message. We tried EcoDrive and it was brilliant. We did that tire management you were talking about. We found loads of tires underinflated, that kind of commentary, or we did a driver bonus scheme or whatever it is that you're doing. If you tried something and it didn't work, key it in as well. Like we tried a new tire, couldn't really see the difference, so that kind of thing. Key that in as well. So tell the story, okay? And then you need an evidence file, which is what Paul wants to chat to you about, which is the kind of the new rules. We want an evidence file. You want to attach that and upload it, and that's what we will check, right? So choose the evidence file, an Excel spreadsheet, preferably from now on. Click the upload button, and then that will go into the system. What will happen then is, just to very briefly show you, it'll be under review while we're checking it. Once it's approved, it means it's ready to be paid. And then after the end of the year, so this will be April of the following year, you will be paid, and then it will be marked paid. Okay. I think that's me, Paul, but do you want to jump in there now? Anything I missed?
While you have that screen there, if you just see those orange little bars that are above the line,
yes,
they're your fuel savings. And if they're below the line, you haven't saved any fuel. And if you just scroll up there to the top again, there, Connor, a small bit. Yeah. If you have telematic systems built in, Blue Tree, Orbcom, various other ones, Connor might outline it, you can actually hit the pull data from your telematic system. So that's you done and dusted. Very, very simple, really, really quickly.
You still have to tell us what you're up to, though.
But well, you do have to tell it, but it just makes life a whole lot easier. And another point I will make is the data that you use for claiming your fuel rebate for revenue would be the same data that you will upload to EcoFleet. So it's the same information. So if you're doing one, you do the other, and do both. And I would always encourage people to do both. It's 0.075 cent per litre on the fuel rebate. So over 100,000 litres, that's a nice little saving. But that same data works for EcoFleet, so you're essentially getting claiming your money back for one and getting paid for saving fuel on the other side.
That's actually, thanks for bringing that up, Paul, because I think this is sometimes people see this as additional work. If you're claiming the fuel rebate, you're already doing this, right? You've already got the spreadsheet. That's what we're looking for, okay? We don't need a second, you don't need to do a second job on this, right? It's the same job, maybe an extra column on a spreadsheet, but it's the same spreadsheet that you're submitting to revenue. That's the kind of thing that we're looking for, okay?
And if you're not claiming it and you're entitled to it, claim it right now.
Please.
Revenue online, get out there and claim it. It's your money.
That's it indeed. Right, I'll let go of the screen there, Paul, and let you drive for there for a second, yeah.
Okie dokie. Again, this is always where the gremlins kick in. Perfect. Oh, now it's doing things. Okay. That should be me sharing there, Connor.
It is, yeah. And you can probably jump now to 5 or 6. Yeah, you did it. Well done. Yeah, cheers. Go for it.
Are you seeing that on the full screen?
Indeed, yeah. I'm getting EcoFleet rules changed 2022.
Happy days. It's the gremlins that always kill you. So there were rules updated and changed for 2022. The main reason was to stop the guys doing the verification in the background getting swamped by massive amounts of data in December and doing nothing but drinking coffee for the rest of the year. So Oh, we're only messing the drink tea.
Not far wrong though. But
So most importantly, you must upload your data quarterly, okay, rather than in a bulk at the end of the year. So it has to be every quarter, okay. And what they're looking for is liters, kilometers driven, a comment, and the evidence file. So as Connor showed you there. So this is where it gets important. Any missing or unapproved quarters mean that there's no payment for that year. Okay. Now, up until the beginning of this year, we would have accepted historic data. So you would have said, okay, well, if I joined in 2018, but I kind of forgot to upload my data, I could have uploaded my data for all the years up until this year and got paid for it. That no longer applies. You can only get paid for the data you upload in that year. Okay. So the next thing is, if you miss a quarter, you have 1 quarter's grace to upload your data. So in other words, for quarter 1, I have to have it uploaded by the end of quarter 2. And if you miss 2 quarters in the year, you will no longer get paid for that year. Now, of course, you can email us if you have a particular issue or if you have any sort of technical issues. That means that you are having difficulty uploading your data, and we will assist in any way we can. So this one, let's see if I can make that a little bit bigger. So the evidence changes. Now, Connor did mention this. We are looking for the data and the evidence in either an Excel or a CSV file. And we used to accept PDFs, but they're no longer acceptable. When you have your evidence file compiled, so you have your Excel with your tabs for each month or each vehicle, whichever way you're sending it in, include a summary page or summary tab, which just gives an overall summary of what you've done, as in your totals across the quarter, and then label it. Say in this case, we're going to label it Q1 of 2022, and that makes it finding your totals easier for the guys doing the verification. Also, add a comments box that can no longer be left blank. So where Connor showed you, tell us what you did, and again, it's like instigated tire pressure monitoring system, or hired new guy to check the tires, whatever you wanted to do. Now, we've always asked for a comment, but up until now, we weren't really kind of enforcing it, but now it's a mandatory thing. So what we want to just kind of point out to you is that the comments are read by the regulator. So that's the SEAI. So tell the story. So as Connor said, give it a little bit of a hint as to what you're doing. Don't assume that they know your business, because again, these guys may or may not know. And I would say try not to use acronyms where possible, just so that they know what they're looking at. And it's also a good opportunity to make the regulator aware of the challenges you face. So in other words, it gives you, as Connor said, if you try something and it doesn't work, let them know, because that, again, that can help. And not only that, it can kind of point people in the right direction, or point us in the right direction if we get to see the comments. Do we get to see the comments, Connor?
Oh yeah, no, the comments are there. So obviously keep them professional, keep them clean. I know it can be quite frustrating out there.
Keep it kosher.
But it literally a text message type comment is what we're looking for, and you're going to be doing it every quarter. So it just builds up a nice story as to how things are going for you, and you certainly don't have to put anything commercially sensitive in there at all. Things will go up and down in the normal course of business. It's absolutely fine.
And there's a thing that it's just after current now. Can they see their previous comments if they at any place, just so they keep a history of their own attempts and efforts?
They can, and I'll just go down. But if there's any issue seeing them, yeah, actually they have a point there. That's a good question. I will ask the developers to try and turn that back on so they can see the old comments. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Good,
and that will help you. That will help you build up a history. Okay, we've tried this. Or if you get a new transport manager and they want to have put in place new systems, go, oh, we did try this 2 years ago and it didn't work. Save time and effort.
That's it, indeed.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
So, very importantly, we want to link your savings to your green certificate. So as I mentioned earlier on, you can attain the green certificate on the first year without having been signed up to EcoFleet and submitting your data. You cannot hold on to your green certificate unless you upload your data, because it's a way of us verifying it. So as we've been mentioning throughout the whole thing, fuel is one of the biggest costs for our industry. So by saving fuel, you're obviously going to be saving the business costs, and getting paid for burning less fuel is obviously going to be a win-win, because you're not only saving not burning that fuel in the first place, but you're also getting paid for any savings that you're making. So, you can't even ask for better than that. So linking that fuel to this green standard is essential part of attaining and most importantly retaining the green standard. As I said, you don't have to have EcoFleet for the first initial green cert, but you do have to have it for everyone after. And when I say it's not just a matter of signing up to it, you have to actually submit the data. And to be fair, as I mentioned earlier on, I do like free stuff. So, when you're getting the opportunity to get money back for something that's just as, how would I say, I'm not going to say simple because there is a little bit of work in it, but for capturing your data, which you should really be managing your fuel anyway, and submitting it, it's an absolute bonus. So again, EcoFleet is a verification tool that we use for the green standard because again, it's verified by the SAEAI. So we use that. Connor, do you want to?
Yeah, I think what I would like to say is, first of all, Paul, well explained, very straightforward. I do it far too quickly because I'm working with it too long. So I think you've stepped people through it there very, very well, step by step. That's excellent. And I think one of the things we'd like to say on behalf of Improva and myself is we'd really like to see people promote the green standard in their work and in their business, right? And really push that. The EcoFleet, it's just a platform, it's just a piece of software in the background. Some of us have got used to talking about EcoFleet as being where you get the money. Push that into the background. The green standard is the key thing here now for all of you as members of the FTAI. That's what you need to strive for. That's what will, in the years to come, win you business, and it'll be recognized. As I say, it's regulated by SCAI, and all the figures are checked, they're inspected, they're QA checked as well. So this is a very robust system with a long history of delivering results. So I think you want to be identified with that. You want to be a thing, and the best way to do that is really the TruckSafe Green or VanSafe Green standard, and that's the way we'd like to hear you think about it and talk about it in the months and years to come. There's been a lot of different names and brands, as I showed in my slide earlier, and we really just want to try and get you all focused in on the green standard as being the endorsement that you are saving fuel and you're running an environmentally aware and safe environment.
You can also use it as part of your corporate social responsibility. You can add that to that. You can, and what I would recommend is when you're tendering for business, stick it in there. Wave the flag, a bit like your CVORI rating. Wave it around. If you've got a good one, stick it in there. This is how we're doing so well. Stick it in there because a lot of companies and particularly government departments now are going to be starting to look at this in the future when tendering comes into effect.
There is a very good point, Paul. The government's green procurement program is now well up and running. We've trained, I'm not the only trainer by any means, there's lots of people out there doing it, but I've certainly had more than 100 participants in my training, the little one that I do, over the last 6 months or so. So there's a huge momentum across government now to implement green public procurement, and the green public procurement guidelines would be very specifically looking for the likes of the green standard. Now, this is Ireland's green freight program, the green standard. It's the only one, it's the longest one running. So I think, you do need to get this kind of notch on your belt and certificate on the wall. And part of this is, obviously uploading your data, but the other side of that coin is getting rewarded for your performance. I think, that's a really key point. And it's still there despite what we're saying here about green standards, green procurement, etc. So, I think for all of you, for the, the businesses, for the business and for the reputation of the industry generally, I think this is a really important initiative, and we all really need to swing behind it and promote it as much as we possibly can.
Okay, Conrad, hand back slides back over to you.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I was nearly done. Okay.
That's me. I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I figure out how to stop sharing.
I think we're there. I'll try and get my slides back. So, folks, the point of kind of putting this together this morning was to try and make this a regular event to and apologies there, to bring you all together to talk about saving fuel, to make this a regular monthly event where we will help you and support you in groups, right? Let's be clear, because we've been doing the alternative fuels. It's sustained. It's worked very well. This is now kind of the fuel saving monthly meeting. We will happily work to whatever topic you choose. We will aim for about 40 minutes of, if you like, presentation stroke answering your question, whatever question was asked the previous month, and the final 20 minutes of Q&A, plus any questions about EcoFleet, uploads, quarterly data, any questions that are going on there around that. We kind of do that. So the meeting will effectively run as kind of a 40-minute plus 20-minute next month. And based on the topics you've given us here this morning, we will pick one that we will do, if you like, pretty much solo, but obviously we're happy to take any questions on the day. We will take that and we'll put that in the agenda. You will get an invite to that meeting, that date. It'll be 9 o'clock again, hopefully a Wednesday if we can find one for you. And 9 o'clock, and we'll run it and we'll finish up around about 10 o'clock. So we're at 10:08, which I think is pretty good going. 8 minutes over for our first time out, but we did say 10:30. So we let you out of school early today and let you off, have a coffee now. But if you're happy with that, do let us know. Do let FTAI know in the feedback what you thought of it, what you'd like to do next, and where we take it from there. But with that, folks, that final slide, I'll leave that up as kind of a sort of a closing point, but I am going to blank the screen now, and we'll just go to sort of cameras on, and that's it, and we're pretty much finished officially, but we won't close the meeting for a couple of minutes just in case there's anyone wants to jump in with anything. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Catherine and Nicola, for hosting and getting me on stage on time. Thank you. Cheers.